All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. Merely Bo, the Great Z. We've got news, big news here within the last hour. There will be 3 head coaching positions open in the AFC North as Mike Tomlin stepped down in Pittsburgh after 19 seasons as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. This will be when they make this next hire, it'll be just their 4th head coach since 1969, which is an absurd thing. His record speaks for itself. Never had a losing season, a Super Bowl championship, a bunch of division titles. The never had the losing season thing is something that I don't know if anyone coaches for that long will ever be duplicated again. I think that's pretty damn hard to wrap your head around. But nevertheless, my friend, this is going to be a brand new day in the AFC North in 2026.
So I said it's a whole new division. It's wild. It's incredible. I mean, Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh. That's just you counted on it. That was like the sun, death,
that's right,
taxes.
That's right.
That's how they were there. I think I have this right off the top of my head. John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin coached a combined 37 seasons in the National Football League.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah,
they won a combined 373 games.
I wrote that. Yeah.
In 37 seasons. So they both, and ironically, I think it's 193 for Tomlin in 19, and it's 180 for Harbaugh in 18.
I think you have that right.
So
yeah,
they both won 10 games a year in the same schedule when they each played 2 games that one of them had to lose.
Well put. Yeah.
Year after year after year after year. It is stupefying. It is, I mean, now you're talking about the 2 longest tenured coaches in the league are Andy Reid and the gangster.
Yeah. Dude, the two of them, 14 division titles.
14 division titles, 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. It's funny, Bisciotti was talking about in his press conference, and I don't know, I just blanked on it. But he said something just funny about the consistency, how these guys have always been there. And now it's just totally turned on its head. But you're talking about 2 of the very, very best. And now you're talking about 2 guys who last regular season game was against each other. If the field goal is made, is Harbaugh still the coach?
I think so.
Beat the Texans, who were
the way C.J. Stroud played last night.
C.J. Stroud was god-awful last night.
He was terrible.
Maybe. We could be looking at a whole different thing, but it is a wild situation here. And Bisciotti was talking this thing about a great many things, but he kind of found out he was unbelievable. And I loved, you know what?
I loved it.
Maybe we're coming back to a time when people are just more candid.
Good.
Maybe people are just going to say what they think. They told me if I wanted to be on the first coaching interview, I had to be on all of them. And he's like, yeah, I'm good. Get to me when we get to finalists.
He goes, he can handle it.
He can handle it. He's like, yeah, if Ozzie had come to me at some point and was like, I think these guys should report to me. I've built a Super Bowl championship team. I've been here since the beginning. I'd have been like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, fine. It's all good.
He invented working from remotely, which I thought was great.
Dude, I think later we're going to have some of that. But there is when he finds out live about Tomlin, it's really great
incredible.
Back and forth.
It's incredible. This is just a wild scenario. It's one that nobody could have foreseen. And I mean, this has to be one of the craziest coach cycles. Oh, this is what he said. He said, yeah, the average coach lasts 4.5 years. And I'm thinking to myself, that number is thrown out of whack by the 2 guys that are gone now. Completely out of whack.
Completely.
There are so many 1-and-dones, 2-and-dones.
Yes.
There are, now you throw out an 18 and a 19, that average is going to go way down. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. He was like, yeah, the average coach is here for 4 years. I'm like, 4 years?
4 years? Come on.
Kevin Stefanski's the only guy that's been here for 4 years in my time here.
Right.
And this will be my 7th head coach, I think, if you count since 2013.
Gibbe's saying, yeah.
Chud, Pet, Hugh, Freddie, or Greg Williams interim, Freddie, Kevin, and now.
Yeah, number 7. It's interesting with the
certainly has been 28 years.
No. It feels like Harbaugh was more of a line in the sand, like you need to do some sort of change, and all the reporting suggests that it was Monken. and he was like, I'm not doing anything. We're staying. And then all of a sudden what turned into kind of a, hey, let's kind of get a State of the Union into, all right, let's just split ways. We're moving in a different direction, both of us. The Tomlin one felt a little bit more premeditated to me from Mike's perspective because
it had all been out. He's interested in TV and
and the Rodgers thing. And it's interesting because his success, the fact that he never had a losing season, prevented them from fixing their biggest issue, which is the same issue that we've had, which is the quarterback.
Yep.
Now, we've had a lot of swings at drafting a quarterback high over the last 25 years. They haven't. They drafted Ben Roethlisberger. They drafted Kenny Pickett, and that's it. That's the list.
Yep.
Pickett didn't pan out the way that they thought. Ben obviously did. Before that, they were meandering too. It was Neil O'Donnell into Cordell Stewart, and Mark Malone following Bradshaw. Like, they meandered for a while, got to a Super Bowl with O'Donnell, and were very competitive with Cordell Stewart when he was kind of in that slash role, and they built that kind of around him. But then they got Roethlisberger. I think they had Tommy Maddox in there once at 1 year too. But they got Roethlisberger in there, and then they were off. And then the Super Bowls happened, and the rest obviously became history. But in a way, his success prevented them from ever getting an opportunity to pick the quarterback that they wanted. Yep. And so they were stuck. He is such an elite culture builder,
100%.
And they are so great at drafting players that combination kept them between 9 wins and 12 for the last decade, and they were never a threat to win a Super Bowl. They were never a threat to be a contender in the AFC. They were always a threat in the division. In fact, they won it like they did this year a lot. They were always in the threat to make the postseason, but they obviously haven't won a playoff game even more recently than we have.
Since 2016.
Yeah.
And they've been beaten by double digits in 5 straight playoff games.
Yeah. And I thought yesterday, we'll get into last night in a second, it obviously blew wide open in the fourth, but the whole beginning of that game went exactly the way it had to go for them to be in it.
100%.
Because they're not any good.
They're
but it
garbage.
felt like they were well, they're playoff garbage.
They're right.
Better than champs garbage.
Better
so
than other kinds of garbage, but they are. It was obvious.
No, they're not garbage. There's a ceiling. There's a cement ceiling over it. And you can't get – there's not a scenario where you can say with them – really, since Roethlisberger's been in his prime, there's not a scenario where you could say they're going to go make a run in the AFC. That hasn't been the case for a decade.
No.
They were always a chase the division to try to get in, get a wild card, and then get hammered. And because of where they drafted, they were never able to get the quarterback. I don't ever think it was actually a Mike Tomlin problem. I'm thrilled he's gone.
Same.
I think he's the culture tornado over there.
I think he got more out of them than anybody else would have.
Far
By the way,
more.
though, look at our fantasy playoff. Nobody took a Steeler.
No.
No belief.
No, there's not. I mean, the roster doesn't make sense.
No, you had a little bit of belief last night.
Well, it was headed that way for 3 quarters. It was headed exactly that way.
It should have been 800-0.
Well, whatever. But it was still headed there, and then it blew open. Rodgers with the fumble and picks. I mean, like, all those things happened.
Did you see the bull rush on that play, by the way? Have you seen the replay of it?
No.
Sheldon Rankins on the one where he does the scoop and score. So everybody sees Will Anderson come off the edge to get to him. Sheldon Rankins bull rushes Isaac Seumalo, who was the guy who was with the Eagles as a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Dude, throws him on the – it's unreal. And then he picks the ball up and goes in for the touchdown.
Swallows him in. Yeah.
By the way, Tommy Togiai looks pretty good in those games.
He did. I think what you're going to find, though, over there is that whoever they get to try to replace him, good luck.
Good luck.
Because I think that job is not nearly as desirable as folks over there think it is based on where their roster is. And while they are disapproving of Mike Tomlin, the job he did, almost everybody else in the league would die to have that type of success and die to have a team that gets the most out of its talent. I don't think they're that talented.
You know we have a huge Steelers fan in there.
Peapod.
Pittsburgh Peapod was rejoicing, dancing like I think I heard, and I quote, "Ding dong, the witch is dead." I'm pretty sure
you're
that's what I
referring
heard.
to me on this side of the glass.
All I'm saying is I heard somebody in there say, "Ding dong, the witch is dead," and celebrating this. I said, "Be careful what you wish for. Grass isn't always greener."
How could anybody objectively look at the Pittsburgh offensive and really defense too? How could you look at it and go, they underachieved?
No, they overachieved. They should have.
You tell me who when DK Metcalf was out, and DK didn't do a whole lot, but in the last 2 weeks when he was out, who are you scared of? Who are you game planning
but that's why the Ravens losing them was
impossible.
Inconceivable.
It was. But I just think like the reason that job will be attractive is because obviously ownership, stability, front office, all of the things that are there. But I think so much of what was maximizing their talent was the force of nature that he is.
If that group of individuals, I'll go back to what you said when Indiana played Alabama. You're like, if the Indiana team was quote unquote Alabama and the Alabama team was quote unquote Indiana, it would be a 21-point spread, and they smoked them. If the Steelers, you threw away the lore, the colors, the fact that they are the Steelers, all of it, and said this is your roster, this is what you have to work with, it is not a desirable job.
No. It's a massive rebuild. And my hunch is from his perspective, I mean, you'd be like, I don't want to keep being blamed for this. Like, I've done it for 19 years. I've won a Super Bowl, won all these divisions. Like, I'm good because Rodgers is obviously done. There's no path on the roster at quarterback.
No.
So they're going to have to piecemeal
Unless it's
it together.
Will Howard, but I mean,
maybe
it feels like a long shot.
It does. I mean, he's a 5th-round pick or 6th-round pick. Like, that's not
it's a lottery
probably
ticket. Right.
It. And, you know, is the arm talent there? The whispers over there in camp or that maybe they weren't. So who knows? Who knows where they go? But it's a massive
9 openings. I'm like Edward Rooney, 9 times. This is wild. This is I don't know if 9 jobs is without precedent, but to have it be 9 jobs and to have fan bases, spoiled brat fan bases that we would kill to have a coach who had won 193 games in 19 years and won a Super Bowl and taken us to the playoffs every year, and we're always competitive. It's always fun to come out and watch the games because you're going to win more often than you lose. And they run him out of town. Yeah. Run him out of town. Baltimore, thrilled Harbaugh's gone. What?
It's crazy.
They're in Green Bay. They want LaFleur out.
In Philly.
Sirianni. Thanks for winning me a Super Bowl last year.
Get out of here, you bum. You didn't win it again.
It's interesting that the league has become those who fully believe either in the lore of their team or in they're entitled to a Super Bowl. If you come up short of that, they want blood. Listen, it's not that easy. We haven't even sniffed that.
Mm-mm. And it's it's so funny on the Pittsburgh side of it because there's a direct you can draw a direct line at when the last time they were, I think, a real threat was their AB, old
Ben
AB,
and Le'Veon.
Ben and Le'Veon. Like that was the last time that you looked at them and went like, because they had dudes, they had Lamar Woodley, like they still had Cam Hayward at that time in his early prime. Like those were squads, and that was the last time that you looked at them and thought, well, they could go win the Super Bowl. That Steelers team could go win the Super Bowl. But they were contending in an AFC that had, at that time, Manning in Denver, had Flacco, obviously, in Baltimore, and, of course, had Brady in New England. And all of those things were happening at the same time.
Yep.
And, they got 2. But once Roethlisberger started to take a downward turn physically, from that point on, they haven't been that. Like, how delusional you have to be to think that they have underachieved over the last decade.
It's wild. And it's funny. The NFL has become, and this year you really saw it, and one of the things they need to rectify, and I don't know exactly how they go about doing it, but you have a league where you've got teams that really have an opportunity, and then their fan bases are impatient as all get out. You've got teams that are just not even competitive.
Yep.
And a lot of them. Like us going from the log jam between 3-14 and 5-12, 6-11 is massive.
Yep.
And those are teams that are losing more than twice for every time they win.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just such an interesting league right now in the way that teams are operating about it. I find to be very, very interesting. And the way fan bases are operating about it.
Well, I think a little bit is, and Rodgers had some comments last night about LaFleur and Tomlin, and some of it was, really off base, but he did say a couple of things that resonated with me, and one of them is he referenced like Twitter, like that sometimes people pay too much attention to Twitter and people complaining about everything.
Yep.
And he's like, when I first came into the league, neither one of these fan bases would ever say a word about running Matt LaFleur or running Mike Tomlin. Like, all LaFleur's done is won there. Like,
right.
That's it, at a wide margin, too. Like, not minimal winning, big winning.
Somebody did point out, though, that around that time is when Marty got fired after going 14-2.
Marty
Schottenheimer.
Oh, yeah. It could have been.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
in Kansas City.
They wanted him to hire an offensive coordinator. He's like, we got this.
This is when he was in Kansas City?
Are you talking in Kansas City or Cleveland?
I don't know, 14-2. I just know that somebody had tweeted he got fired after going 14-2.
That had to have been.
That wasn't here.
That wasn't. Would that have been? No, it might have been San Diego.
He was San Diego. He went 14-2, and they lost to New England in the divisional game. They were the 1 seed. But the problem, it is 14-2. But the only thing, and maybe that was a stupid firing in retrospect.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
but that
Marty
was an outlier. People
it was
nuts.
A total outlier, and
Yes.
it had been 13 years between playoff wins for Marty.
Yeah.
So it'd been a long time since he'd had won anything in the postseason.
Sure.
So I mean, that was probably wrong, and I don't know who San Diego hired to replace him. But yes, the outlier.
Yeah. No, it's a totally Peyton Manning would not have been allowed to continue being a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
28 picks, and didn't Eli give him a poster board with every one of the picks on there? Last on Manningcast.
What did he do?
He gave Peyton a poster of every player who picked him that year for his 28 picks. The patience has changed completely, and I think there are multiple factors. I think number one, you've got social media, which is somewhat of a factor, but not much. And Bisciotti even said, they asked him about the outside noise, and he's like, the heat was turned up, but we've been really good. Like, okay.
I just think you see it more in the old days before social media. To really feel the heat, it only happened at the stadium if they booed.
Yep.
Or they protested at the stadium at a game. Or sometimes back in the old days, people would write letters.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right, kids. You would get out a typewriter or a pen, and you would write something on a piece of paper. You would fold it up, put it in an envelope, and then send it to somebody, and they would read it back.
Yep.
And it would take a certain amount of time for it to go from your possession to theirs. It certainly was not immediate. What social media does, and everybody's victim of it, it allows for you to see real-time feedback, emotional in many times feedback,
yes,
and in many times negative. Yes. And so while you can say, I don't pay attention to it, people in your organization do.
Yep.
And they read it. All that stuff gets seen. And unless you're just going to be like Stetson Bennett and go to a flip phone, it's omnipresent.
Yep.
And I do think it impacts sometimes things that happen at the very highest level of organizations. I think it impacts how people view quarterbacks. I mean, we've seen this. I mean, Baker, Sam Darnold. Darnold's a little different, but both of those guys are situations where you tried everything in certain spots and it didn't work, and then multiple other teams also bailed on them, and then they found their way back. That's it. I mean, look what could happen with Malik Willis this year, Mac Jones. Like, we're quick to punt on a lot of these guys, and then let's see what else is there. Danny Dimes is another one. I think the same thing's true at coach. I think the one thing that's interesting about the coaching search is, like, especially with Tomlin and Harbaugh now in the mix, because other than that, it was a ton of, and then Kevin obviously is in the mix and interviewing for a lot of jobs. It's a lot of coordinator stuff, and I wonder if there is a fear, like if you're Kevin, if I don't get right back on this horse, do I get forgotten?
Yeah, I mean, when are you ever going to have better odds when there's nine openings?
Jobs? I mean, he's going to get a job.
100%.
Yeah, he's going to get one of these jobs.
Here's the other thing. Now you're competing with 8 other teams for what you want, and that I think that is hard. I think that is a hard scenario to make sure you get the guy you want, and so I think you're going to see. You look at, like, I think in a normal cycle would, Jesse Min or Grant Udinsky, who we're talking about, Shieldhouse, would those guys get jobs? Maybe not. Mike McDaniel's going to be, I think Mike McDaniel will end up getting a job for sure because of what he can do. Now, he might be, I think wherever he goes, he is going to be an excellent offensive coach, and if he can work on the things as Armando talked about with, the accountability and the leadership and the locker room stuff, I think he's going to be really successful. But it's going to be, you're going to see guys get opportunities in tough situations. And that's another thing Bisciotti talked about. He said, look, we might hire a guy who's been a head coach with a losing record because we understand that a lot of times those hot coordinators go to tough situations without quarterbacks because they want to be head coaches. And so he goes, this isn't that. Whoever comes here has Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Such a great answer.
He's like, so I don't really care if somebody struggled somewhere else. If they're a good coach and we have a lot of respect for them and they wow us, knowing that they're coming into a good situation. Now, he also said about Lamar, which I thought was fascinating, that Lamar basically said to him, I want to be involved in this. Mm-hmm. And, they've been texting after all the interviews or whatever. And Bisciotti said, look, if this is true, I'll send my jet for you for every interview when we get down to like the real interviews and come. If you really want to be involved. And he goes, we'll see. We'll see if he really does want to be involved. But you can get on my plane or make other travel arrangements, but my plane's available to you to come be a part of this if it's that important to you, which I hope it is.
Yeah, which is a great.
So it's a little talking through the media, which I thought was interesting.
It was 45 minutes. They're all in with Lamar.
Oh,
he talked about extending it. We'll have some of that here in just a little bit. But, he's already working on extending him and, whatever it takes. And Lamar Jackson's their QB.
In some way, you could look at this on some level. I'm not saying it is the 100%, but on some level, as Lamar wanted him and Monken gone. Wanted Monken gone for sure.
That's what
despite the fact that he had the best 2 seasons of his entire career with Monken as his offensive coordinator.
Yep. And Todd alluded to that. He did a hit with, I want to say it's Cal Ripken's kid has a show in Baltimore or something last week.
Really?
Yeah.
He did do some kind of podcast.
It was with
show,
a Ripken.
Yeah.
I assume it's in Baltimore. I assume related. Be pretty safe to assume
Yeah.
that. Anyway, I suppose it could be Billy's kid. Who knows? But Ripken of some.
Great error card.
One of the greatest error cards of all time.
But
not worth anything either.
Nothing.
Because we all wanted it, right? I guess because there were so many more of them. That and the Juan Gonzalez reverse negative was another one that was a real hot hitter at that time.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Monken said is, when it goes bad, we all have to be accountable for it. And he said, I should have been better with Lamar. Like he took ownership of that. I should have done better to make sure that relationship was strong with Lamar. And it does seem like that's what happened, that Lamar was like, I'm done with this. And John Harbaugh said, well, I'm not going to be told to fire coaches by players. And that was it. And they move in another direction. And to me, those jobs, this is the thing that's pretty crazy. And from the delusion of some Pittsburgh fans, those jobs aren't in any way similar. Not in any way. Baltimore is walk in, win the Super Bowl. Pittsburgh is rebuild. Rebuild with the 21st pick and go find quarterbacks and go find all these other things. It is a totally different job than the Baltimore job. The Baltimore job is the most pressure-packed. Like what Bisciotti said, we have Lamar Jackson. Well, not only that, they got a ton of talent everywhere. Going into this season, weren't they the favorite to win the Super Bowl?
Yes. Prohibitive.
Yeah.
Yes,
So it's like
they were.
and they still run all that back.
Yep.
Derrick Henry ran for another 1,600 yards. What do you got there?
Trying to write. I'm missing Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Tennessee, Arizona, Giants, Miami, Vegas, us, and who's the other one that I'm missing?
ATL.
Atlanta.
All right. So just real quick for us, take us out of it.
Yep.
This might be a segment later on, by the way.
Is it to rank the openings?
No, we don't rank the openings.
No.
Yeah, let's do right now.
Yep.
So, and I'll even kind of, bottom. Let's go bottom tier, Vegas.
They get the number one
but
pick.
you have the number one pick, but still I feel like a bottom tough division.
Tough division. You're looking at a million things. You got quality
no
of
home field
life.
advantage.
I was going to say, I know y'all love Arizona, but
great weather. No
Arizona's a bottom
the
tier.
Owner,
no quarterback.
Yeah.
To me, those feel.
I think Arizona's worse than Vegas.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would rather live in Scottsdale, but I would.
So
I think Arizona's the worst.
Yeah.
Okay, Arizona's 8th. No quarterback. You're getting rid of Kyler.
You're not picking first or second, so you're going to have to wait a year on one. You're piecemealing it together. Ownership, reputation, not great.
So I guess, okay, so all right, they're 8.
Yep. I'll tell you what, 7 might be Miami.
So, okay, Miami. 6 might be Pittsburgh.
Wow, you're right. I forget it's even open. Even though it all just happened, it's all we're talking about. It's just weird to hear that it's open.
It might
Pittsburgh
be.
might be worse than Miami.
It could be 7. It might be 7. I mean, it really, truly might be.
If you go paratrooping in there, like, what are you hanging your hat on? Who's a young player you're hanging your hat on? There's a franchise we're going to build around him.
There isn't one.
None.
Not a single one.
No, everyone's
old.
Everyone's veteran, old guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a massive rebuild.
Massive rebuild with no quarterback and in a.
I'm going to go. I think
division.
Pittsburgh over Miami, just from the standpoint of ownership
Pittsburgh.
stability, and it's Pittsburgh, and it's
all right.
Miami's
So Pittsburgh,
taxes.
Vegas, I'd say 5.
Yeah.
You've got the number 1 pick that you like, and we could argue. I think Vegas and the Giants are probably in that same.
The Giants and Tennessee, you're just having a conversation of, do you like Dart and do you like Ward?
Yep.
If you like them, then those are great.
So
jobs.
I would kind of tier them together then. So I would put like Miami, Arizona. Well, the Miami does have some pieces. Like you do have some.
They do. Achan's a great player. Waddle's a nice player. They've got a few guys. Yeah, for sure.
But Miami, Arizona, Vegas. Then I think the middle group would be, depending on how you feel about the quarterbacks, and that would be the draft quarterback. It would be Vegas. It would be Jackson Dart, and then it would be Cam Ward, who I thought played pretty well down the stretch. And
yeah,
there people are
a lot of
fans
people liked him. Yeah,
and then the top 2 to me would be Atlanta, but it would be on its own tier, and then Baltimore's on its own tier because Atlanta, you've got ready-made superstars on offense. You've got a good defense as well, and you've got the easiest division in football to win.
easiest path.
Yeah, and then
sure.
Baltimore.
And then Baltimore's go win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Those would be the ones. And then Pittsburgh is really almost its own entire ecosystem.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, like I said, I think Pittsburgh is.
I think it's closest to the first tier.
Yeah, it's closer to Miami, Arizona. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, because it's just where do you begin?
They went all in with old players this year.
They did.
TJ Watt is not young.
No,
he's been getting banged up.
I mean, Cam's got to be 37. Cam Hayward.
Yeah.
How old's Jalen Ramsey? 30.
Yeah, in his 30s.
Yeah. I mean, there's not.
No.
I really.
They went veteran heavy. DK
very.
Metcalf's not even young anymore.
No. So, yeah, that's a reset situation. And honestly, I mean, you could talk to their fans. Maybe they want that. Maybe they want a true reset. But be careful what you wish for, man.
I don't think that is a stadium that wants to be playing meaningless football in December. No,
they don't even know what it's. They haven't done it in our life.
No, they don't know what it's about.
Not in our life. Do you? I mean, you probably around here remember a time when they were really bad.
The Pukers?
Yeah, like
yeah,
Mark Malone,
Neil O'Donnell. It was
but O'Donnell got to a Super Bowl.
Correct, but
the Mark Malone was
else?
Right, because after Bradshaw they went to Malone or Bubby Brister.
I'm confused.
Mark Malone into Bubby Brister.
We enjoyed him eating plenty of turf in the 80s. We enjoyed beating the hell out of him.
That's when they were the weakest in the division, right? Because we had Bernie, Bengals had Boomer, and then Warren Moon in Houston.
Yeah.
So you had those were the 3 at the top, and then Pittsburgh was the 4th.
Might have been the last time they were at the bottom.
Yeah, there was that stretch in the mid.
Because it was at the end of Chuck Noll's reign.
Yeah, and then they hired Cower, and he flipped it pretty quickly, and then it's been Mike ever since.
By the way, Schottenheimer was replaced in 2007 in San Diego by Norv Turner.
Norv Turner got that gig.
Yep. And the most coaching
great
openings
OC Norv
in an NFL season were 10 in 2022. Mike McDaniel took over the Dolphins. Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings. Brian Daboll took over the Giants. Doug Peterson took over the Jags. Todd Bowles took over Tampa Bay. Josh McDaniels took over the Raiders. Eberflus to the Bears. Oof. Dennis Allen to the Saints. Lovie Smith to the Texans. And Nathaniel Hackett to Denver.
I had forgotten all about Nathaniel Hackett coaching an NFL team. And the whole point of that was they thought they were getting Rodgers, right? Because he was like his buddy in Green Bay.
Yep.
And Denver thought they were getting Rodgers.
Am I wrong? But did Hackett or McDaniels even last the season?
Did Josh McDaniels get fired in season?
I thought Hackett maybe didn't even make it the season. I mean, remember what a joke that everybody knew that was a disaster.
Yeah.
He got fired after 15 games.
Josh McDaniels?
No, Hackett.
Hackett
did.
Yeah,
McDaniels was fired mid-season in 2023.
So he made it.
They were 3-5.
Yeah. Well, you guys remember when he interviewed here, and when we left, we left thinking he's going to be the next coach of the Cleveland Browns that day.
And that's the year. Is that the year that he took the Indy job and then
I think
went back on it?
I think you're right. Or after that, I can't remember. I can't remember if that was in the Freddie. No, that would have been in the Kevin
20. Yeah.
20.
Yep.
All right, update you on where things are around here in terms of head coaches that we have interviewed, completed interviews with Tommy Rees, Jim Schwartz, Dan Pitcher, Aiden Dirty, Todd Monken, and Mike McDaniel. We've requested interviews with Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minner, Jaguars offensive coordinator Grant Yudinsky, and Rams passing game coordinator Nate Shieldhouse. So that's where that stands on that. And a John Harbaugh update from Tom Pelissaro. Harbaugh has spoken by phone with each of the teams that have vacancies as he narrows his options. Formal interviews are going to come next on that. We also have the wild card round in the books now officially, and we have your divisional round schedule. So what that will be for this week, it'll start 4:30 on Saturday, Bills at Broncos. Then Saturday at 8 o'clock will be Niners at Seahawks. Sunday, the early window, 3 o'clock, Texans at Patriots. And then the night window, 6:30, Ram it at Bears. So that's
like the times for all those.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Gets me out of a dinner Saturday night. Even better.
That's a win. There you go. We'll do one thought around the wild card weekend coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Add more fun to your fandom with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Download today, get 50 back in bonus bets. You place that first wager of 10 or more. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for one thought around every wild card game this weekend. Hello, Gibby.
Greetings and salutations.
Hey, buddy.
Never a dull moment. We like
fun.
Lots of busyness, lots of craziness.
Crazy, man.
It is.
Harbaugh. I mean, so where were you? So 2005 was the last time that the division did not have Tomlin or Harbaugh?
Yes.
Where were you in 2005?
Promotion director at ESPN Cleveland.
2005.
I was here, and I think I'd either just started or was a couple years into the fantasy consultant.
Yeah. Tallahassee,
He might
Florida.
have been doing a show on ESPN Cleveland at that time.
Look how long you guys go back.
That's
It's
right.
beautiful. Beautiful. 20 years.
2 decades.
Tallahassee, Florida is hosting the Bowden Show. Precocious, bouncing around.
I saw a clip. I think today is the anniversary, 50 years ago today.
Yep.
Bowden was hired, and I saw the introductory presser.
Yeah.
And about fell off my chair.
Think they did okay with that hire.
Boy.
They changed everything.
Yeah.
By the way, our mutual buddy Gene Deckeroff had a great final send-off in Tampa.
Did he?
Yeah, it was really, really good. Really, really good. As
I
it would
got to
be.
go find it.
He's always pure joy. Always was. He lived 2.5 blocks from me, and was. I saw him all the time. He just always had the best attitude ever. And he did these great ads for an RV company because he had a van that would drive him from Tallahassee to Tampa because it's about 5 hours. So he always had like this. He always did like the RV ads because they gave him the RV to drive from Tallahassee to Tampa.
It's fantastic.
Which is great.
That's a big play-by-play job open.
Massive. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's not too shabby. Interesting. All right, one thought from
2005. I think that's when I used to go to bars and argue with people about what was a sport and what wasn't. People loved it.
one thought from every game on Wild Card Weekend, and we'll kick things off on Saturday. Ram it 34, Panthers 31. Bo Bishop, one thought.
To watch the Los Angeles Rams play everybody but Carolina is a hell of a thing. And I don't know what it is that Carolina has on them, but they have something. And this game should have been over at half, and I think McVay probably would maybe make that decision back. But either way, the Rams survived here, and there's a lot of layers to it because it's if Matthew Stafford doesn't drive him down, he's going to win the MVP. And if he didn't drive him down the field for the Super Bowl, he's the answer to a trivia question of who's the last MVP to not win a playoff game. That's got to be a relatively short list, especially for non-buys. Non-number one overall seed MVPs. So that would have been out there. They get that done. But it did make me, as I'm watching it in real time, and I did think he would go down and score, but I'm watching it in the real time with NBC, and I just am thinking, it made me kind of rethink how chesty I was on the Rams. Yeah. Because it's just, I don't understand why Carolina has them, but then they play almost everybody else, and they look like the Rams. But there's something about that matchup that doesn't do well for Stafford. I don't know what it is.
Styles make the fights. I think, listen, if you go back into this one, when they're up 17 to 7. Mm-hmm. If they would have just kicked the field goal right there,
that's the play.
And goes 20 to 7 with my guy Mevis. Instead, they go for it. They don't get it. The Panthers are able to score at the end of the half with 37 seconds left. Bryce Young runs it in. Now it's 17-14. Then they tie it up, and then it just changed the whole tenor of the game. 20 to 7. It might have been Goodnight Irene right there.
Yeah.
It really might have been. And that's one that, had they gone and gotten it, they were looking for the knockout blow, but it might have been a case of where that would have been the knockout blow, just getting that field goal. But listen, Panthers were game. You got to give them a lot of credit. They got good young receivers. McMillan only 7 targets, but 5 catches for 81 yards. Coker had a nice game. Bryce Young looks, legit, made some big, big plays. So if you're Carolina, you feel pretty good about it. For the Rams, you got to wonder if something has changed with them defensively. Here's what they did starting season. I'm just going to give out points allowed. 9, 19, 33 to the Eagles, 20, 26 to the Niners, 3 to the Ravens, 7 to the Jags, 10 to the Saints, 26 Niners, 19 Seahawks, 7 Bucks. Okay? Then they play Carolina, and this is what they've given up since then. 31-17, 34-38, 27-20, 31.
That's wow.
That's not
Tale of two cities there, buddy.
That's not winning defense.
Yeah.
So their defense is struggling, and I think if anything ends up getting them knocked out, that's what it's going to be. And I mean, you got a Chicago team that can certainly put points on the board.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be fascinating to see which Stafford you get on Sunday.
I think he'll be fine.
I mean, he was 10 of 15.
Yeah.
Early in the first half. After that injury, 2 of 12 for 24 yards and a pick. Didn't look great.
Yeah.
But the fourth quarter, he's got the 2 touchdown drives.
He was so good on the touchdown drive, the last drive. Money.
Just keep throwing to my tight end, baby. That's it.
2 catches. Give a please.
That's all I ate.
Just wait till we get to the standings.
Oh, I know. I need about 8 more passes to him, and we'll be fine.
8.
Everything will be great.
60.
Next, in the arguably the best game all weekend, Bears 31, Packers 27. Green Bay goes home after blowing a 18-point lead. Zagura, one thought.
I mean, Caleb Williams' throw on the 4th down is one of the greatest throws, I think, arguably in NFL history. Mm-hmm. He's never going to complete a high percentage, but 24-48, 361, the 2 touchdowns. He makes plays with his legs. They can run it. Colston Loveland, I think, is on his way to becoming a megastar. And you're kind of wondering, where was it the first half of the season? Well, I kind of got clued into something that I didn't know about, and I'm glad I didn't, because he's got on a lot of my fantasy teams. That means he'll be on my fantasy teams next year as well. But he basically didn't do anything until the season started. And so Jim Duray, who was their tight end coach, former Brown, they needed to kind of ease him in. Well, guess what? They've eased him in, and he's now kind of the top target. And so you've got Loveland you've got to worry about. You've got Roma Dunze. You've got DJ Moore. You've got Luther Burden. I mean, they're loaded.
So good, man.
Incredible win. I feel bad for Jordan Love. I honestly feel bad for the Packers because they deserve to win this game. And this game will be looked at, and everybody's on LaFleur, this, that, whatever. Fact of the matter is they were so efficient on offense. The offensive game plan was outrageously good. The difference in this game, really, if you didn't watch it, you wouldn't know. Brandon McManus missed 2 field goals and an extra point.
Yeah.
And he missed the extra point and the one field goal, I want to say, in the 4th quarter. And that's it. So,
and hey, wide receivers catch a pass for Green Bay.
When they score to go up 27-16, he misses that extra point right there. Then the Bears score, make it 27-24. Now it should be 28-24. McManus gets with 2 minutes and 56 seconds to go, misses a 44-yard field goal, giving the Bears the ball on their own 34.
Yep.
And they go down and they score and they win it again. Now, had he just made the field goal, or had he made just the extra point, it's 31-28. If he made the field goal, it's 31-30, and they got to the Chicago 28.
Yep.
That would have been a 46-yard field goal attempt to win the game or tie the game. So they did everything. It's a tough loss. I'm great for the Bears and all the people who love the Bears. Awesome.
No one around here is going to shed a tear for them, but the Packers have an inordinate amount of postseason tragedy.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of home playoff games they lost, pick sixes, weird overtime games, the Hasselbeck game, Rodgers at the cusp, Love at the cusp. Go all the way back to Favre. There's some crazy ones that he lost.
But when they lose to Tampa, where they're going in the first half and
there's another one.
They blow a defense and let Brady throw like a 70-yard touchdown going in the half when it should have been over. Done.
So they've won the Super Bowls and they win a lot, so no one's going to feel sorry for them, but they probably should have won more through the years. They have a little bit of playoff bad luck. And I would just say this. I mentioned this yesterday at Ben Johnson. I wish he wouldn't have said that type of language, because that gets shoved out on all the socials and the kids see it. Like my kids already, hey, Dad, you see this? Like they're already seeing that. But at the same, and that's fine. They're used to, I mean, it's a big world. We got to handle it. But he is changing the culture.
Yes.
And what he is saying, he is speaking, he doesn't really care about the outside. He's thinking about his fan base, his team, his ownership, his culture. He's trying to say, we bow down to them no more.
Yep.
We toppled them, and we're going to continue to topple them because I hate them.
Yep.
And that's something that probably over there they've wanted for a long time.
I hate them. I'm the man. This is about us. I think you may have said something like, if you don't wear brown and or if you don't wear blue and orange, you don't matter. Yeah, something like that. That's what it felt like.
Did feel like that.
Next, we go to Sunday. The Bills go into Jacksonville, and they take out the armpit of America. 27-24, your final score.
Did you see the armpit of America was like 71 degrees and sun-kissed on Sunday?
It was.
Looked like it was nice. Think like they did okay.
All right, so this one, this was Nance Romo, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You talk about losing the fastball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is hard to watch their broadcasts or to listen to their broadcasts.
Yeah.
At one point, I'm pretty sure I'm paraphrasing, but Romo said something like, well, if they win this game, they get to play next week. Like,
Yeah, you don't say.
It's the playoffs.
Do you think with him, like once he stopped being able to predict the plays, then that was such a new thing when he started doing that, everyone was in awe of it. But now that they told him to tone it down, or he doesn't do it anymore. Maybe he can't because he isn't as familiar with the league. I don't know, but it's like he didn't have another pitch.
It feels like, I don't know. It just feels like he is. He even looks a little odd to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like he is not. It doesn't feel like he is. What we have seen is like this. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Brady was excellent in that game.
Yeah.
Excellent. And a year ago, he was a tough listen. He was excellent in that game.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and this is
Aikman's unbelievable.
I was going to say
fantastic.
the resurgence of Aikman.
Well, I think Fox saying, "Yeah, we're good. You can go somewhere else." I think that was a shot in the arm for Aikman because he's
and ESPN going, "You can say whatever you want. No, he's like, let's have some fun with this."
On this game, Jacksonville was one of the hottest teams in the league. They had been playing lights out football. This is, and I really believe this, I think this is the worst team that Josh Allen has ever quarterbacked seriously into the postseason since he's been full form Josh Allen. My guy goes 28 of 35, 273, a touchdown, no picks. Their leading rusher was James Cook. Jacksonville shut him down, 15 for 46.
I'm aware.
Allen contributed 33 and 2 more on the ground. That's what an MVP does. That's what a dude does. His performance, because I really thought Jacksonville would beat him. I still think Jacksonville's a better team. But that's what happens when you have a super-duper star that just says, hop on. Hop on.
Yeah.
And it might be enough to
they
go all the
know
way
that
with
it's coming,
him.
and they can't stop it.
Because, like, this weekend, it's him against Bo Nix.
There isn't one dominant team, which I do think gives him a little bit of a better opportunity to do the things that you're talking about. I thought that when he had the sneak from, I think it was the 11, the tush push, and his lineman picks him up, and Osiris, whatever the guy's name is, picks him up and carries him, and they take him. It looked like in the Osiris Torrance, the guard. It looked like a touchdown, but he was down at the one, and they score on the next one. I thought the game was over at that point. When you get guys just dog walk you 10 yards in the NFL, like that's demoralizing. I felt like that was it. And, Trevor Lawrence played well. That's a tough pick, but, tips and overthrows, got to get those, and they did. I don't think the Bills are very good. I think what's fun about this is that I don't think there's anybody that's the prohibitive favorite to win it. I think everybody's got issues, but everybody's got excitement and talent. What I like about it is, the Bills can score, and if they can get ahead, they've got good pass defense. If they can get a lead against Denver, I think they can beat Denver. New England on the other side, you've got New England and Houston. That's I don't think going to be a stylistically pleasing game. It doesn't feel like, but it'll be kind of a fun slugfest. The NFC side, I think you could have a couple of Seattle Niners and then Bears Rams to me is the most fun game.
The NFC. Like if you have to pick a conference this weekend.
Oh, NFC. Yeah, all of it. They also need to stop. Let me just real quick jump in there. You can't make they've released the times, right? Yeah. What are the times it's on here?
Yeah.
It's like the
4:30 and 8.
Yes.
On Saturday.
3 and 6:30.
And then 3 and 6:30 on Sunday.
And who's on Saturday? Niners, Seahawks, right?
They're in the night game, and then the Denver Buffalo is the early game.
I just think for a Niners team, when the other team's coming off of give them the extra day. When you've got Houston is playing. Houston's on a short week.
Well,
you have a couple teams on a short week.
Yeah,
that's why they shouldn't have
Buffalo
a Monday.
Too.
They shouldn't have a Monday game, right? Buffalo shouldn't be doing that either.
Yeah. TV runs things, so
and Buffalo's got to go to Denver.
Nobody should be playing on Monday in the play.
Well, no, of course not. Yeah, it's ridiculous. If you ask, they'd probably rather play Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't miss anything in football on Friday. You didn't need to. That was not a game that needed to be watched.
You did not need to see that. No.
That was like watching Reek with Ramsey's Bolton. Jeez.
Up next, Pedro Jr., give us 49ers 23, Eagles 19. The Eagles, by the way, just firing their offensive coordinator.
As they should. I mean, their offense was dreadful. What an incredible job by Kyle Shanahan. I mean, just an absolute master of his craft. No Kittle, no Ayuk, no Pearsall. Those are supposed to be your 3 top pass catchers coming into the season. They did a pretty good job against McCaffrey running the ball, but they still found ways to get him. Demarcus Robinson hits big plays when they needed him to. Juwan Jennings, you dial up the trick play and hit it right when you needed to. It was just masterful. Eagles offense, dreadful. Just awesome. Awesome. Great for Kyle. Great for the Niners. Loved every second of it. My Pedro was fired up. FaceTimed him during the game multiple times, and he was all fired up. It was it's just an incredible win for them. I mean, they are so depleted. Yeah. You think of like if you made a poster going into the season of the Niners, guys that were going to be on that poster. Defensively it would have been Bosa and Warner gone. Offensively, Trent Williams could be on there. He's missed some time. Purdy missed 7 games. McCaffrey's been the only constant. Ayuk never played a snap.
Is there a chance Warner comes back this week?
NFC Championship is the earliest, I think.
Okay. They showed him working out. I was like, oh.
I don't know Kyle like you do, and I obviously didn't grow up a Niners fan, but just from the standpoint of in awe of what he gets out of teams. And I think he's just one of these years he's got to win the Super Bowl so that he gets that full praise, because right now he's on that very short list of best coaches in NFL history to not win it. He's on that list. I mean, he's definitely on that list. Like in terms of knocked on the door so many times, like I'm trying to think who else would be on that list. Like Marty probably would be on that list. Those type of guys who coached. Now he doesn't have the longevity yet of Marty, but like it's the only thing missing. Everything else he's done. Like he's done it all. He just needs to win that. Like how Andy Reid was in Philly. 100%. For the longest time, it was like, God, Andy Reid's the best coach in football, but you can't say it until he wins it. Then he gets the wizard, and all of a sudden he wins a bunch of them. But that's kind of what I feel like Kyle's at that point right now in his career, where all that's missing is the ultimate success.
And this is the year. And look, the reality is you got to go beat, if you're the Niners, the way that it shakes out for you, you've got to beat Seattle in Seattle, which you've done this year. You would have to either beat the Rams in L.A., which guess what? You've done this year.
And a home game. That'll be all red.
Or you'd have to beat the Bears in Chicago. Now, you haven't beaten them in Chicago, but you beat the Bears this year. So you've beaten everybody that is ahead of you this season.
Yep.
Finally, to round out Sunday.
This is a year. Ball bounces right a couple ways. Anybody can beat anybody that's left.
Absolutely.
I really think.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's completely well.
The Chargers fired Greg Roman, their OC, earlier today as well.
Yeah.
Chargers end their season at the hands of the New England Patriots 16-3, Bo Bishop.
This was a physical game. Vrabel, culture, tornado, Drake May, all of those things. But I'm gonna spend just a couple seconds on Justin Herbert. He is easy to pick on because the playoff success isn't there. But if you watch this game and if you watch the assault that he was under from start to finish, there was a time he got folded in half and then got hit in the face by somebody else's helmet, and I just thought, I don't know how he gets up from that. He just got completely bludgeoned. And Harbaugh usually gets these things kind of sorted out. He did in San Francisco. They need to fix that promptly with the Chargers. They're going to waste him from just getting beaten to an oblivion. I mean, it feels a lot like Andrew Luck sometimes in Indy. Now, Luck won more in AFC that was even tougher at that time. But man, did he take a beating. And that's what I get. Watching Herbert feels like watching Luck. Like just a lot of hits.
It's tough. And they've tried. I mean, they tried to draft offensive linemen. They tried to beef up the offense, and they're just beaten up. And, he got smoked.
Final one last night. We've already kind of touched on it a little bit, but Texans 30, Pukers 6 in what ended up being Mike Tomlin's final game as head coach of the Steelers.
I mean, to win 10 games with that offense as the Steelers did is really remarkable because it was awful. It was hard to watch.
I mean, it's so bad. Such a pessimistic approach.
Like,
throwing it like behind the line of scrimmage. like over and over and over again. Like just nothing.
Yeah. I'm worried for the Texans because it is a short week turnaround. I'm worried for the Texans if they do not have Nico Collins. I think that's a
worry about the quarterback holding on to the football.
I'm not going to – I don't want to do Buckeye on Buckeye crime here, but I'm going to. I really hate doing this. I don't know what difference it makes if Nico Collins plays or not because CJ won't be able to throw it to him. The throw that he missed on the crosser to Nico Collins in the second quarter, there wasn't anybody within 30 yards of him in any direction.
Nope.
It's a layup.
Yep.
That is a layup at the pro level. And I know CJ Stroud can make that throw. You know how I know it? Because I've seen him do it. We saw him do it against us. We saw him have one of the great rookie seasons of all time. He was seeing ghosts in the first half of that game. His eyes were like this. He had no confidence in anything he was doing. Should have got pick six. Crazy throw he made to the sideline that could have gone back the other way for 6 easily if Pittsburgh's corners were in position to make him pay for it. We talked about Pittsburgh a lot and him getting the most out of that. C.J. Stroud in that game, the bad for him is so bad. And rookie year he didn't have that, so I don't know what has happened, but it was bad last night.
He fumbled 5 times.
Dude, he was so bad last night.
It's crazy.
So bad. Yeah. Nuts.
Crazy.
Absolutely nuts. All right, second hour of the program coming up next. We got all sorts of fun, a little higher, lower fun, some fun audio from Steve Bisciotti as well. We'll get you an update on our fantasy playoff standings as well, and a little higher, lower. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Score big with Howard Hanna, official real estate partner of your Cleveland Browns, Northeast Ohio's #1 real estate provider dedicated to helping you make the best move. Visit howardhanna.com/go-browns to explore your winning options today. All right, we have a potpourri from Steve Bisciotti's press conference over in Baltimore.
We do.
It's Baltimore, gentlemen.
Compliments of the G-Man who was monitoring this bad boy. I mean, it was still going 45 minutes in. Stephen Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens, and the GM of the Ravens, Eric DaCosta. These are all Bisciotti clips. Cut number 1, Bisciotti on when and why he made the decision to get rid of John Harbaugh.
What was the biggest reason that led to your decision, and when exactly did you make the decision to fire John Harbaugh?
I staked out a position I had come to, with a lot of thought and a lot of prayer. Gave a lot of time to it. I think I talked to you 3-4 weeks ago. There's, I guess the hardest part was the reasons, and unfortunately, most of these can't get traced back to John necessarily. Factually, we led the league in giving up big leads in the fourth quarter. It's not something that winning organizations do. We have underperformed based on our seeding in the playoffs. Very disappointing. A lot of our great players involved making mistakes that they don't make during the regular season very often. In the last 10 years, we've won the third most games in the NFL, and yet people were saying we were underachievers. We were. And we had to own that. I woke up Monday and I was pretty sure that I was going to do it.
That's pretty good candor.
Oh, you want candor. He gave you candor nonstop.
There's
for
that
45
in
minutes.
spades, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was great.
It's awesome. I love it.
Stephen Bisciotti on whether Lamar will sit in on these coach interviews.
I think that Eric made it clear to Lamar that when we get down here talking to him, I think he's texting Lamar after every interview, whether it's Zoom or in person. And I think he's getting some opinions from Lamar. I said to Lamar last night, when they call me up from Florida, you better get your ass up here too. Because if you want to do the interviewing, these are going to be full-day meetings like they were 18 years ago. And they go from department to department to department, right? So I said to Lamar, you can jump on my plane or find another way to get up there. But if you're that interested, then we're going to get a schedule. He's going to call me up. He's going to offer you the same luxury. And I said, I hope you take it. And he said, yes, sir. I think I will.
It's given the QB a lot of say.
Well, and it's public.
Yeah.
And so now is there the follow through, and people will be able to monitor that.
It's accountability. It's forced accountability
yes,
is what that is. Like if he doesn't show, well, then that was his choice not to. We'd love to have him here. We'd love to have him weigh in on all of it. I really think, this situation in Baltimore, when's the last time? Well, we can finish listening, and then I want a question to pose to both of you. Go ahead.
Okay. Here's Bisciotti on how long he'd give a new head coach.
Steve, this is only the second time you'll have to go through the process with your leadership team. Our head coach, because you've had so much success in 18 years, are you essentially telling your next head coach you need to get to the Super Bowl fast?
Well, it took Billick 2 years, John 5. Maybe I'll give this guy 6. I don't know. I hope we pick the kind of guy that's going to get us there. I think we have a roster that's capable of it. I think we have a GM that's capable of making that roster better. I'll be patient to that point. Jerry, I'd probably give him 5 or 6 years, as long as I like everything else I see in him.
It's great.
No pressure.
Well, look, you should. It's a ready-made. It's a ready-made job. Yeah. This is what I was going to ask you guys. When's the last time a job like this came open?
It's a good question. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Like with a 2-time MVP, like Manning after Dungy retired, is that it? Is that the last time that something like this with Caldwell?
Was Caldwell there though?
Wasn't he? I think he was. Didn't they promote from within?
Yeah.
So they didn't go hire.
That's not like
else.
Bill Walsh to
Yeah,
Seifert.
I think you're right on that. I have to get the MIT kids to look at it, but I think you're right on that.
That when it's internal, it feels like a succession plan as opposed to like this is. Jobs open.
Jobs open.
Yeah, I don't know.
Your
the
imprint.
Last time there's been that.
I'm trying to think. Like the last time that you had a Cowboys after Jimmy, although they won Super Bowls. Lamar hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. Switzer?
No, that would be it. When he fired
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
McCarthy?
What about
in Green Bay?
What about in Tampa?
Yeah, that's pretty good because Rodgers was still at his MVP level when they hired LaFleur.
What about Tampa?
That was Arians, but was he there?
No.
Oh, Gruden.
Gruden for Dungy.
Gruden for Dungy. They fired Dungy, and then. But I can't remember the dialogue around it. That Tampa team hadn't won, but they always were so offensively limited. Defensively, they were great. They lost a crazy playoff game with Sean King at quarterback in Philly that I remember.
Yeah.
It's just very rare that you get, a two-time MVP in his prime with a roster that's built for his strengths without really any holes. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens don't really have holes. Not really. I mean, it's tweak here or there, but they'll be one of the favorites to win it if they hire the right guy.
And they're pretty good at tweaking when they need to.
Do we have, in one of the clips, just kind of talking about everything that's going on with the Ravens, is that, Bisciotti also said in there that college coaches have contacted them.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, of course they would want to do this. He said, now if Eric is interested in talking to them, that's up to Eric. But he goes, being a college coach with the portal and all, he goes, it's a living hell. That's what Bisciotti said.
Yeah, I'm not here I don't want this being something going viral, but like if you were Ryan Day and you were an offensive-minded head coach and you're looking at that and you have NFL history.
Yeah.
Those type of, like Dan Lanning, he's not an offensive-minded coach, defensive guy, but like those type of guys, these young, energetic dudes.
Yeah.
100%.
Maybe a little less stress.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Way less. You can have your life back.
By the way, Diana Rossini an hour ago says, John Harbaugh continues to gather information about his next landing spot. I'm told the Giants, Falcons, and Titans are considered the favorites to land the former Ravens head coach at this time.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's 63, so like, unless you love Cam Ward or Jackson Dart, Atlanta is the most
ready.
But the one thing that we don't know about,
really have a quarterback.
The other thing about Atlanta, buddy, Atlanta, Arthur Blank has not shown a willingness to just give the keys. Like Belichick wanted that job, and they got talked out of it. They thought they were going to go Belichick, then they didn't go that way. Like he's got his structure in place. They just hired Matt Ryan. Like Harbaugh he would answer to more people than just one in Atlanta. In the other two jobs in Tennessee, he would answer to nobody except ownership. Probably same with Giants. He'd answer to nobody.
Final one here from Bisciotti, being notified real time that Mike Tomlin had stepped down as coach of the Steelers.
Steve, I just had these reports that Mike Tomlin got terminated or stepped down.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Mike Tomlin stepped down at Pittsburgh.
He did? Is it official?
That's what I keep hearing. So, is he a candidate here?
Holy Mike, wouldn't that be awesome? Only if John takes the Pittsburgh job. Wow, wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know. That thing last week maybe disqualified him from my opening after our kicker missed a kick to let them advance. Good for Mike. I love Mike. I mean, I've admired Mike for 18 years, and that's really shocking that he did it that way. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
That's great. It's a great answer.
I had an interesting one of the guys that listens to the show. One of the Carroll brothers reached out. He said, if Tomlin goes somewhere, does Pittsburgh get compensation picks? Because technically he wasn't fired. He stepped down. I don't think they would be eligible for that.
It just screams that he's going to sit it, or maybe do TV, right?
That's
like, I don't think he would
paratroop
back into this and take a little break. It's been 19 years, man.
Yeah,
there was a lot of whispers. I think before the college game got nuts, there was a lot of whispers that that a lot of people wanted him to run college jobs because the style of leadership is so infectious that he would really crush that. And I think in the old days when you could have had a life and had a college job, I think he would have been amazing at that. But now I can't imagine him signing up for this world that it is now. So I wouldn't be surprised if he sat out.
The early Vegas odds, by the way, are out on the next Pukers head coach. Brian Flores coming in as your leader. Marcus Freeman, number 2.
Freeman is 2 in Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Jesse Minter, the 3rd best odds. Chris Shula, the 4th. Anthony Weaver, the 5th. The other names that Vegas is throwing out there, Sala, Halfley. They have Antoine Randall at 14-1.
I'll just say this about both.
Stefanski at 16-1.
I'll say both of these jobs, though. The last time they made these hires, they came out of nowhere. Nowhere. John Harbaugh. I'll never forget. I didn't even know there was another Harbaugh.
Yep.
When they hired him.
Yeah.
I just thought there was Jim. I didn't know that he had a brother. I had no idea. Of course, wasn't looking into it. But they hired him from the, Eagles special teams coordinator? And he got that gig?
Yeah.
And then the Tomlin one I don't remember as well where he came from, but I remember being surprised by it. Now, I wasn't following the league then the way that I do now, so maybe it wasn't as much of a surprise. But both of those hires kind of came out of nowhere. Like, those two organizations do things different.
Yeah. Absolutely. One thing I wanted to give, because I actually got a couple tweets about this, and I think it makes sense. People are so interested in these coaching hiring cycles and how this interview process actually works. And I don't think people understand exactly how it works this year because the rules are different and have changed a little bit on how teams can contact candidates. So last week, the only candidates who could be interviewed in person were coaches who were fired.
Yeah.
That's it. So once the games last Tuesday, so a week ago today, head coaching interviews could begin for teams that played on 1-3 or 1-4 last Tuesday, last Thursday, which was Saturday and Sunday. Those could only be virtual. Candidates for the wild card games for teams that had buys, they could be virtual. This week, right now, coaching candidates who played in wild card games can begin interviews today again, virtually, only virtually. Then you've got, as it goes on into next week, that's when teams after the divisional round, that's when you can start to do in-person interviews. So a coach's team is playing in the wild card round can participate in initial interviews 3 days after the team's wild card matchup. Likewise, the meetings must take place before the end of the divisional round. Once the division, and these are all virtual, only virtual. Coach whose team in the playoffs but received wild card bye can participate in virtual interviews 3 days after their Week 18 game. All such meetings must be completed before the wild card games conclude. Once the divisional rounds are concluded, teams can begin holding in-person interviews, but only with candidates whose seasons have already ended. So any team next week after these games this weekend, anybody whose team was knocked out in the wild card round, you can interview them in person. Any coach who had been fired, anybody else who's done can be interviewed in person. Teams cannot schedule initial interviews with candidates employed by the AFC or NFC championship participants until the end of that employer team's season, and the employer teams cannot voluntarily grant permission to their coaches to participate in interviews. So if you're still going, nothing to the championship game, no in-person interviews or virtual interviews yet. You could have done a virtual interview earlier, but you couldn't do an in-person interview. During the bye week between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl, franchises can schedule virtual or in-person interviews with coaches competing in the Super Bowl. Teams conducting those interviews must notify the candidates' employer teams once Super Bowl week begins. Interested teams must wait until after the day after the Super Bowl to resume any contact with these candidates. So if you're eliminated in the championship game, all fair game after the championship game. If you win the championship game going to the Super Bowl, it can only be the week of the bye in between that you could do interviews. Then you'd have to wait until after the Super Bowl to pick up contact. Then the other part of it with the Rooney Rule is that you must interview an in-person interview with at least 2 external candidates who are minorities and or women. Virtual interviews do not qualify under the Rooney Rule. So next week is when in-person interviews are going to start happening here and around. So like now, like Mike McDaniel could do an in-person interview now because he was a fired coach.
Yeah.
All the fired coaches could do in-person interviews.
Kevin, all those
but
guys.
anybody who was a coordinator somewhere else or was not a fired head coach, they can only do interviews in person after next week. Unless they're in the championship game. So, like, say the Rams make it, then, those guys would have to be in that week between either after the championship game and they lose or that same week if they go to the Super Bowl. But that's it. So it's different this year. I don't remember the restrictions being.
I don't remember them like that in terms of like if you're still
virtual,
playing
in person,
after and
all of that.
No,
yeah,
I don't recall that either.
So that's how it works. So you won't start hearing about in-person interviews with non-fired head coaches until next week.
We have a statement from Mike Tomlin. After much thought and reflection, I decided to step down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. This organization has been a huge part of my life for many years. It has been an absolute honor to lead this team. I'm deeply grateful for Art Rooney II and the late Ambassador Rooney for their trust and support. I'm also thankful for the players who gave everything they had every day and to the coaches and staff whose commitment and dedication made this journey so meaningful. I also want to thank Steelers Nation. Your passion, loyalty, high expectations represent what makes this franchise truly special. Coaching in Pittsburgh is unlike anywhere else, and I will always take great pride in having been a steward for this team. While this chapter comes to a close, my respect and love for the Pittsburgh Steelers will never change. I'm excited for what the future holds for this organization, and I'll forever be grateful for my time coaching in Pittsburgh. So there you go. We doing a little, where are we up to next? We do a little higher, lower?
So we'll get to higher or lower, but we'll have a little fun next and do our
fantasy update.
Fantasy
All
update,
right,
and then we'll end with the higher or lower.
All right, very good, Gibby. Thank you. That's all coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, we brought it back. Fantasy playoff competition at stake. The check for a dinner for 5.
Lunch. It was lunch.
A dinner for 5 at a white tablecloth.
Yes.
Is the way that I remember it.
I like that.
That's the way I remembered it. Was dinner for 5, white tablecloth.
I can assure you it was not written that way. I wrote it.
I know. I saw me do it.
I feel like I remember what you think.
You remember it the way similarly? Yeah. All right. So we got an update. We're going to give an update on where we are.
Sure.
All right. So the idea was we had a fantasy draft last Friday.
Last Friday
Had one, and snake draft, and we went through it. And it's cumulative.
6 positions.
Yeah.
But for every loss, you can't replace anybody.
No.
So
finite.
You need them through. You need your guys to win out and win as much as possible.
Yeah. You're looking for quantity.
That's right.
And quality.
Both, yeah.
Yep. So far, I have found neither yet again.
Oh, no. God forbid, give it.
We'll go from 5 to 1, and,
Oh, shoot.
well, guess who's in last?
Gibby.
Me.
Come on.
26.5. Now, I had 3 guys on the bye.
Well, you're okay then.
I had 3 on the bye.
I don't know if he is okay.
I don't think
that
I'm
was-
okay.
Have you lost anybody yet?
No, I didn't lose anybody.
No.
No.
I have 3 on the bye. I think if Denver loses on Saturday, and the sad thing is I'm probably going to be rooting for Buffalo. So
You shouldn't be.
yeah, I know.
I think
but that's
sometimes
how my brain
you
works.
get
and you know
confused on what's best for you.
Yeah.
You need to root the other way.
this. Maybe if James Cook could show up, help out a little bit, that'd be nice too.
Yeah,
That'd be
but look,
wonderful.
your whole team's here. Parkinson catches a touchdown pass every game, and you have Jackson Smith and Jigba, and you haven't lost anybody. So
Correct.
despite
And I
you
need
being in
Nix and
last,
Sutton to go off.
yeah. And I mean, who's favored here in this group? I haven't even looked at the well, we will do that tomorrow.
we
so
gotta
we'll
do
get
that
into
tomorrow.
All right. So Gibbe. All right,
I'm
26.
5th. At number 4. Number 4.
Number 4.
It's the G-Man.
Oh, G-Man.
With 75.12 points. Now he's got 1 guy on the bye. He does have 2 players out. One of them
quarterback and his
is
kicker.
Quarterback's tough, man. All right, 75.1.
Yep, not so great.
You can pay down 50, dude. That is a big hole.
That's a
He
big
is,
hole.
but he's. I mean,
I need a
without
couple
a quarterback
shootouts.
and
He
a-
needs Denver to go to the Super Bowl.
Ugh,
well, I mean, he
gotta
doesn't.
deal with horse face.
People used to say
I
this
just
all the
don't
time.
need to finish in last.
That's it.
Yeah.
My dad everybody used to say this out west in regard to Bears. You don't have to be faster than the Bear. You just got to be faster than who you're with.
That's right. It's every
That's
person
it.
for themselves.
So just make sure you're not the slowest.
that's right.
So you could be. I would
tripping
rather be
somebody
Gibby
on
than
my
G-Man right now. Go ahead.
All right. Up to number 3.
Number 3.
Bo Bishop. What's a
sad.
Bo Bishop? 78.42 is what a Bo Bishop is.
You're good unless the Rams get knocked out.
He had 1 guy. You had 1 on the bye. You don't have anybody out.
Rams would destroy me.
You
a
cannot
Rams,
be rooting for the Bears, the team of your youth.
No, it's got to be Ramit. Ramit's got to take care of it. I feel pretty good about New England winning and advancing on. Nice job out of Puka on that one.
Yeah, a little bit.
He was number 1 overall and obviously delivered. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right with this. I'm a little surprised Travion. I don't understand how they use Travion. Is weird to me.
Yeah, they.
Strange.
Yep.
But I'm okay. Everybody's still playing.
That takes us to number 2.
Number 2.
It's between Jordan and Nathan Zagura, and it's Nathan Zagura at number 2
Dr. Z.
with 85.12. He's got 1 player out, 1 who was on the bye, and R.J. Harvey.
Nico getting hurt is painful, but I feel pretty good. I'm not gonna be
Nico's in concussion protocol.
not gonna be
Barkley's out.
Problem is, I've got Josh Allen is playing against Harvey,
Yeah, you're going to be down another player at least there.
and Mevis is playing against Colston Loveland, so I'm down 2.
You're going to be out without 2 after this weekend.
So
Yeah.
I'll be down 3 total, which is again could be fine.
You're
My guy
80s
scored.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Allen was a monster. And that's one of those ones where that's the gamble you took was
Yeah, can I get 2 games out of it?
if I can get 2, that's worth it. It almost might have been worth it just with 1.
Yeah, 30
compared
is
to
a nice
30 is a
number.
nice number out of a quarterback. So you'll take it.
Colston Loveland was a nice pick.
That takes us to number 1. Jordan
Number 1.
McGrigg.
Yeah, but he's going
He's
to
got
trouble.
3 out.
Oh, Dr. J.
Dr. J's already got 3 out. Now, he might have enough buffer that I can't catch him.
Well,
If
he's
the
got
Bills
3
lose
out.
next, he's toast.
so he's got no Kittle, no Dobbs, no Jacobs.
Yeah.
Holy
he just
smokes.
has Stafford,
He's got
Khalil
Stafford,
Khalil
Prater.
Shakur.
Oh, jeez.
Yee.
So he needs, you really need. Now, all this is going to come down to is can Gibby catch up?
That's really what it comes down to.
That's really what it is.
Can I hop skip
Yeah.
one guy?
Because Dr. J, tech stock, 90s.
Yeah.
But
I'm in a good spot. You're in a good spot.
I think you and I are going to
Young
be just
Gabriel's
fine.
not in a great spot either, I don't think.
I feel like you and I are going to be just fine.
Yeah. We're eating for free.
Yeah, G-Man's like, I have McCaffrey. Like,
Young Gabriel.
I don't know.
You got a 50-point lead on Gibby. But Gibby's got 3 guys who didn't play. So
I need a couple shootouts.
what do we what is the average points scored in this? Let's take Gibby out of it.
McCaffrey is going to go off for Pedro next week
Yeah.
against the Seahawks. Nate.
Yeah, that I believe. Young
I believe
Gabriel.
that. That's very much in
believe.
play.
I think McCaffrey 40 bomb is on the horizon.
Yeah.
You know,
Devontae
I mean,
to catch touchdowns.
I need Devontae Adams to remember that, like, your whole thing this season was catching touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they used you for.
You're going to lose.
I'm
McCaffrey
confident
or
on Charbonnet, even if, I think that Niners-Seahawks game could be a shootout. I'm confident on Charbonnet because he's like the vulture. He's the Samaje Perine of the Seattle Seahawks.
Fair.
He just scores touchdowns. Kenneth Walker gets him down
But
there,
you're
and they just
going to
give the ball
lose
to
one of
Charbonnet.
those two.
This is true.
Yeah. So
I'd rather
this
lose Charbonnet.
for sure you're going to be with 4 guys after this week.
Yes.
3.
And I texted you guys. I
three,
texted you
three.
guys
Oh,
during
yeah, 3.
the Jaguars and Bills game because Cam Little missed a 54-yarder at the end of the
What's-
first
yeah.
half. I was like,
Would've
dude,
been helpful.
What's
your
he
whole
doing?
thing.
That's his whole
useful.
thing.
Very useful.
Unreal.
Put up Gibby's team again, if you can.
James Cook did me no favors.
So Dallas Buffalo is going to be it's a big you kind of need. I mean Denver Buffalo. You need Denver to win that game.
Yeah.
But losing James Cook that's a loss.
And obviously needs Jackson Smith.
The rest of it though you could carry on.
You are the biggest Seahawks fan ever. And then you need.
Boy, that won't go over with my
You
my
could
father.
in theory have.
I don't see any. Now that I'm looking at this, I almost see no scenario, Gibby, where you can catch G-Man.
Well,
Because you're going to lose
Thanks,
either your
Bishop.
quarterback. I'm sorry, brother. You're going to lose either your quarterback or your flex. You're either going to lose your quarterback and your
And
flex
flex.
or your running back. One of those are
Ricky,
gone.
I'm going to need to expense this.
And potentially, you could lose everybody except for
I
that
could.
game.
Yeah.
You know, like you could. I mean, if
I could too. If the Rams are out,
and
then
the Rams and Patriots go down,
then I'm out.
bye boat.
But it might be enough
Might
in
be
that
enough.
I have all 6 of them
Might be enough.
in this weekend. That might be enough
For
to
2
not be
weeks, yeah.
last.
Yeah.
But I don't know about
This is not one of those situations where if you ain't first, you're last. No, last.
last is all that matters. Yeah.
That is it.
And that's a long 50 points is a lot to make up even for
This
Gibbons.
is 4 passes.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
This is 4 passes and 1 fail. That's the way this goes.
That's
These are the grades. There are 4
That's right.
passes. There's
like
one
when you're
fail.
a little kid.
Right.
It was like thumbs up or thumbs down. That's all
it.
you got.
That's it.
Check mark.
Yep.
That's it.
It's that simple.
Yeah. All right. Gonna be interesting. Yeah. So on the team on the average score of so I didn't have all of my guys. I didn't have my kicker, but everybody else. And you guys all had all your guys. So the average is around 80.
And I didn't have R.J. Harvey. And I'm
Oh, you didn't have R.J. Harvey.
No.
So yeah. So you and I, you didn't have your kicker. I didn't have mine.
I didn't have my flex.
I'm sorry, your flex.
Yeah.
I didn't have my kicker, and so we were in that. I was 78. You were 85. So
Yeah.
like if you have everybody, it's around 80 a week.
Yeah.
So that would put Gibby around the 106 if he gets that.
Yeah.
So then it's really be G-Man's. What can G-Man's depleted roster do this week?
How can Dr. J hang on? Dr. J's only got
But
3
he's got
guys.
Stafford.
That's right. He's got 3
He
guys.
only has 3 guys left.
But he's got
But he's
Stafford.
got Stafford.
which
So he's
you
the biggest-
got enough to.
Dr. J and I are the biggest Rams fans on the planet.
Yeah.
Like we really need the Rams to beat the Bears.
Yeah.
That's really
Just
important.
Ram it daily.
Yeah. Puka and Stafford, and don't I have Kyron Williams too?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, so like that's the whole
Well,
operation.
and I got
kids.
Colby Parkinson. Just throw it to Colby. Stop throwing it to Puka.
Got to get the Ramets going. All right, very good stuff. We'll do a little higher lower coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back in. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports winning partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Please bet responsibly. Hello, Gibbe. Nope.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, new studio. You'll have a light.
Hopefully.
No, you will. You designed this studio.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
As long as the budget doesn't start slashing things, I don't know.
Look at all that beautiful outdoor light. Look
Kiss
at it out
that
there.
goodbye.
It's gone. Gone.
I'm going to be in that'll
That's a tough one.
Although,
Foul.
we're going to be able to walk out onto the field, stretch,
that'll be
maybe
cool.
have a little catch.
Oh, that'll be fun. Get a catch in.
Yeah.
There you go. Little
Segura's
tryout
not
for Dr.
happy
J.
with anything these days.
He'll be all right.
I'll be fine.
He'll come around.
All right. It's higher, lower factor fiction hybrid is what the G-Man put together from The Ringer, ranking all head coaching candidates for this cycle. His question to all of us, what 9 guys off of this list, or maybe not on this list, do you think have the best shot at being a head coach? And maybe where do you see them as the best fit?
9 guys you want me to give?
9 out of the
So this is-
32 that are on this list.
They have Kingsbury 5.
That's right. By the way, Tomlin's not on this list because
Yeah.
this came out late yesterday.
Assuming he
so
would.
you can add Tomlin, so there's 33. Yeah, some impressive
I got-
names.
I'm going to go.
While you guys are working on it,
All right.
I'll give you your top 10. Number 1 on their list, John Harbaugh. Number 2, Kevin Stefanski. Number 3, Robert Saleh. Number 4, Mike McCarthy. Number 5, Cliff Kingsbury. Number 6, Joe Brady, the Bills OC. Number 7, Steve Spagnuolo, Chiefs defensive coordinator. Number 8, Jesse Mintor, the Chargers DC. Number 9, Todd Monken, the Ravens OC. And number 10 is Brian Flores, the Vikings DC. At number 32 on this list was one Bill Belichick.
Nope.
No, thank you.
All right. Are we having Tomlin on our list or not?
You can add Tomlin to your list.
All right. I'm going to leave him off
I'll
mine
leave him
because
off.
I don't think he wants to coach.
Same.
Fine.
So I'm going to leave him off. All right. I'm ready.
All right.
You want 9 who we think are going to
out
land,
of
the
this
most
list.
likely to land spots?
Yes.
I got 9, and then I got
9.
one,
I followed the
2,
rules.
3,
I went a
4.
straight 9.
I
Thank
got
you.
5 bonuses.
Thank you.
5
I
bonuses.
appreciate you.
I cut it to 9. I have my 9. Yeah. All right. You want to start at 9 or because they're not ranked?
They're not.
Just pick 9.
Yeah, we're not ranking them necessarily. So, and I can tell you, or I'll tell the fine folks listening where they ended up on this list.
Okay. I
first
guess I'll
one.
just start with the guy lowest on my list, who I think is probably going to get a job. I just think there's too much smoke for Grant Udinsky.
Yep. I have him.
I think he's going to land somewhere.
Well, he's number 28 on the
Yeah.
list.
I have him as well.
Who is your lowest ranked, sir?
Udinsky.
Okay. Who is your next lowest ranked?
Clint Kubiak.
Okay, so you have Kubiak.
Number 15, by the way.
I have Kubiak. I do have Kubiak on my list as well as one I think is going to get hired, but I do have one other guy lower who hasn't interviewed much left. I just wonder if Mike LaFleur gets in a room.
He's got a couple interviews.
Does he have a couple lined up?
Tennessee, Vegas.
Mike LaFleur.
Mikey LaFleur.
Oh, what did I say, Matt?
No. I was just clarifying which.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Mike.
Yeah, Mike. I have Mike on my list, too.
So
he's 26 on
He
this.
has a check for me as that's a bonus.
Yeah.
He's a bonus guy.
And I had Kubiak.
I have
on
Shieldhouse as a bonus guy. I got LaFleur as a bonus guy. I got Vance Joseph as a bonus guy.
Okay.
Weave, Monken, Flores, bonus.
It just continues to amaze, the whole Kubiak thing. There doesn't seem to be a lot of buzz with his name.
I just think it's because they're still playing. I just think because they were off, they had the bye.
There was a lot of buzz around his name from league insiders.
I think he's got a heck of a shot.
Okay. All right, my next one would be Jeff Halfley.
Yep, he's on mine as well. He is personality-wise an A+. The only thing and I think he is going to get a job in this thing. The only thing that's a little interesting about him is, when you think of Green Bay and without Micah Parsons, I don't ever think about their defense as being lights out. But I know he's a leader of men, and I know that he's someone who communicates very, very effectively. So I have him on mine as well.
Okay.
He's
Next
one of
up.
my 9. Next up on mine is Mike McDaniel. I think Mike is clearly going to coach in this cycle somewhere.
Yep. Same.
Zagura, what do you got next?
McDaniel is my next one as well.
Okay.
And I said, I think Weaver is an interesting one. I think Baltimore would be a possibility for him. I think Vance Joseph's an interesting one. Flores, I think what Flores did when he left Miami, I think that still gives owners pause.
Yeah, I don't have him as on one of my 9.
Yeah.
I don't have Flores.
And I think Monken would be great. I don't know what that's gonna turn out.
I just like that audio that he had where he took like ownership for the Lamar thing.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think he'd be a great coach.
Yep.
But it just feels like there's something not in the mix there because he interviewed for an OC job in Tampa, of all places, with Bake.
Yep.
Yeah. So
The real truth on all that.
Jeez. McDaniel is 11th on their list. Hafley was 14th. Kubiak 15th. Mike LaFleur 26th. Udinski was 28th. That's 5 right there.
Yep.
Who else do you got?
I got Jesse Minter next.
Yep.
On my list.
Number 8.
That's 5, isn't it?
That's 6 for me. That's the 6th one that I've done.
Udinski. Did you have Mike LaFleur?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay,
had Mike
you did.
LaFleur.
Okay. All right, so I have 5 so far. Okay. Yeah, I have Minter as well.
All right. Segura, who do you have next?
I don't know if both. I don't know. I don't know if Joe Brady or McCarthy. One of them would be in for me, and one would be out for me. And I don't know who is which.
So I didn't mark either one of these guys for this cycle. But
So
McCarthy wouldn't surprise me. McCarthy would not surprise me. So my others are all because I've done 6 already. Because I've got my six so far are Minter, McDaniel, Hafley, Kubiak, LaFleur, Udinski.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are my
7.
6.
All right.
Yeah.
So then we have the same top 3 because I have Saleh, Stefanski, and Harbaugh all getting jobs.
Yeah. The one of these 3 I'm most curious about is Bob Saleh. Does he want one?
2 minutes.
Does he want one? Or does he want the right one? Like if he got the chance to go be the coach of the Atlanta Falcons, like or Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like if Robert Saleh, Baltimore probably piques your interest if you're Robert Saleh.
Yep.
But he's not going back to what he had in New York. I thought he was done dirty.
Yep.
Really dirty.
Yes.
I liked him.
We've talked about that. I don't know how many
I
times.
think he's a hell of a coach. I think people
No
follow him. I think that was a real miss for the Jets.
I think it got blown up by
Yeah. Right.
ayahuasca.
Bless you. But like he was done dirty, and I think like to me with like I look at the Ravens spot for him.
Yeah.
That might be exactly what the doctor ordered for them, and if he could bring like one of those guys along with him as the OC,
Yeah.
now you're talking.
Yeah.
Now you're cooking with gas.
I agree.
By the way, Marcus Freeman
Not that I want.
expected to remain at Notre Dame.
I thought he's
Put
already
that out.
said that he's
Again,
remaining
at
Notre Dame.
Now it's Schefter tweeting it again.
Yeah, like why when somebody says we gave them a contract extension, they're locked in, I'm committed. Like that's it. We don't have to keep updating
Shouldn't need to be any more than that.
No.
By the way, the one, and Peter Schrager had a good tweet about it last night. With all these candidates, we sure Matt Burke shouldn't get some more consideration. The Texans, D.C.
No, Siciliano brought him up.
Yeah.
Maybe he should.
Maybe he should.
Pretty
You
solid.
just never know.
Shieldhouse isn't even on this list.
No,
and
he's not
clearly
on
he's getting looks.
How do they have Kingsbury
30,
5?
30.
Who's
I don't
putting
know.
this list together? It's Kingsbury 5.
Dante Lee.
Come on.
Stephen Ruiz.
Come on, Dante Lee. It's Stephen Ruiz. All right, we're back tomorrow with more fun. Enjoy your Tuesday night, everybody. Thanks for listening. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.